Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. Donald Trump is now getting blasted by one of his favorite attorneys on Fox News. More on Jonathan Turley in just a moment. First, Donald Trump started all of this over the weekend when he appeared on NBC's Meet the Press and said all of the lawmakers on the special select committee that investigated January 6th should be charged, convicted, and jailed.
And everybody on that committee, for what they did, honestly, they should go to jail.
So you think Liz Cheney should go to jail?
For what they did.
Everyone on the committee, you think
I think everybody anybody that voted in favor.
Are you going to direct your FBI director and your attorney general to send them to jail?
No, not at all. I think that they'll have to look at that, but I'm going to focus on drill, baby, drill.
Trump said he would not order members of his cabinet, including the attorney general, to find a way to jail members of the committee. But it certainly sounded like Trump believes such a process should be inevitable. Trump claims the January 6th committee destroyed documents and records. Lawmakers on the committee deny destroying anything, and there's no evidence to support Trump's assertion. Trump also believes the January 6th committee unfairly smeared his reputation and damaged the reputation of countless January 6th protesters. Former Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger of Illinois served on the January 6th committee and appeared on CNN.
Are you worried that Donald Trump will try to put you in jail?
No, I have absolutely no worries about this. First off, the executive branch can't go after the legislative branch because we embarrassed him. That's not a sin. That's not against the law. Ultimately, when we talked about him throwing his ketchup and hamburger against the wall, there's nothing illegal about that. And most of the people that testified were actually his Republicans, fellow Republicans that went up and spoke at him. So look, he's all but hurt right now because he was embarrassed. He's not going to come after us, and I'm not worried about it at all.
One person who is worried about Donald Trump is his favorite legal analyst on Fox News. As the Mediaite headline says, Fox News legal analyst Jonathan Turley rips Trump's call for January 6th committee members to be jailed, gave his critics a windfall. Turley has long been a critic of the work of the January 6th committee, but Turley wrote on his own website, quote, "There is no viable criminal case to be made against the J6 committee members for their investigation or reports. We need to move beyond the rage rhetoric if this country is going to come together to face the tough challenges ahead." Turley added, Trump gave his critics a windfall benefit, which they can now cite as the basis for the blanket pardons. In other words, Donald Trump made a political and legal mistake, according to Trump's favorite Fox News attorney. However, many of the other Donald Trump supporters are unwilling to show the kind of independence that Turley demonstrated. Patel, Donald Trump's pick to be the next FBI director, told Kimberly Guilfoyle's podcast that the Bureau and the Department of Justice should begin a criminal investigation of January 6 lawmakers immediately.
Members of Congress aren't shielded from criminal acts of destroying evidence. That's a federal crime. So why Congress hasn't subpoenaed Liz Cheney and Cassidy Hutchinson yesterday to appear before the American public, I don't really understand, but they got some work to do.
Right. Why aren't they in some, federal prison, for the crimes that they committed? I mean, seriously, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. What's unbelievable is that anybody would ever trust or rely on anything Kimberly Guilfoyle ever says. Good grief. But that's a video for another day. You heard Patel mention the alleged destruction of documents. Again, there is no evidence, but for argument's sake, even if the committee destroyed files, legal experts say that would be a violation of House archiving rules. But that has never been the basis for a criminal prosecution. And that's because the House rules on archiving have sufficient wiggle room for interpretation to make any criminal claim difficult to prosecute. Also, the House archive rules make it nearly impossible to establish any responsibility to any committee lawmaker. At least one person on the Trump transition team, communication strategist Jason Miller, seems to understand that the perception about Donald Trump wanting to jail January 6 lawmakers is damaging to Trump. So Miller went on CNN and tried to engage in some cleanup. He suggested Trump was merely expressing his feelings and was not advocating or ordering any actions.
Well, what President Trump said, if you listen to the entire Meet the Press interview, is he wants everyone who he puts in key positions of leadership, again, whether that's Pam Bondi as the AG, Patel at FBI, or anybody else, to apply the law equally to everybody. Now, that means if you're somebody who's committed some very serious crimes, who's committed very serious felonies, who's, for example, leaked confidential information in direct violation of laws that are in place, well, then obviously that sets you up for different things. But as far far as the politics aspect, if you listen to the entire interview with President Trump, he said he's going to leave that up to the law enforcement agents in charge, including Pam Bondi and Kash Patel.
In other words, if criminal prosecutions begin against Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, Adam Kinzinger, and others, it will be because of a judgment made by Kash Patel and Trump's AG nominee Pam Bondi, not because of Donald Trump. The problem, of course, is that Patel and Bondi have pledged to carry out all of Donald Trump's wishes. So there is always the possibility the Trump Department of Justice instructs prosecutors to impanel a grand jury and seek criminal charges against the January 6th committee lawmakers. What would the charges be? Well, who knows? And it probably doesn't matter to Donald Trump, but it would matter to a federal judge. And to Adam Kinzinger's point, it's hard to see how any charges or any prosecution against the January 6th lawmakers would stick. But just causing headaches for Trump's critics and maybe inflicting a little bit of fear seems to be part of the incoming president's strategy. Whatever. Kinzinger, Cheney, Schiff, and the rest are not worried. And the only person who may feel some pain in all of this is Donald Trump, if he's paying any attention these days to his favorite legal analyst, Jonathan Turley. Trump's ego, of course, is legendary. One can only hope, though, that Donald Trump, even Donald Trump, realizes he has bigger challenges coming as president than trying to get even with the January 6th committee. Plus, revisiting January 6th is never going to turn out well for Donald Trump. History will always remember that Donald Trump inspired his supporters to storm the Capitol and try to block Joe Biden's 2020 election certification. It was a dark day for democracy, and polls show that even a majority of Donald Trump's voters believe Donald Trump needs to move on and leave 2020 behind. By the way, rumors about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the 2028 campaign are sending chills through the GOP.
She has a lot of talent. She has tens of millions of followers on social media, and she is someone that needs to be taken seriously. If she were to run for the presidency within the Democrat Party initially, she would be formidable. And, you know, we as Republicans, we can laugh and we can try to make fun of her, but she understands where the energy of the Democrat base actually is.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.